Hi, it's Lisa from 5 Arrows Homestead, and we're going to do a garden tour. It is May 20th, so it's been about a month since my last garden tour, and we're going to see how things are growing. So we're going to start over here at the strawberry bed. Now, it seems like most of our strawberries are done for the season, but we might be getting a second flush because we've got some flowering going on, so I'm excited about that. The red Malabar spinach has finally popped the surface and is beginning to have short little sprouts like this, and I'll show you that. Our lettuce is almost done. It is starting to bolt, so we've been trying to do a lot of salads lately. The peas are looking good. The aphid problem seems to have been solved. I haven't seen any live aphids in a while. There's a couple pea pods that seem a little bit damaged, but overall I am super happy with the progress. The neem oil seems to have taken care of the problem. If you don't know what happened, I will link a video card up on top so that you can see our video on pest control. You can see this one right here, this little pea, definitely got a little bit of bug damage from it, but overall that really seems like the only one that is super affected. The spaghetti squash is a lot smaller than I would have hoped for, and it seems like our beets didn't really produce much, so I might just leave that space blank for now since it's getting a lot of shade from the peas anyway. Got a few carrots, but not quite as good of germination as I had hoped for. Let's look at that. Now this bed here, we had some trouble with this bed last year, and I thought it might have been a nitrogen problem. So I planted the entire bed full of beans, hoping to help solve the nitrogen issues. And it doesn't really seem to be doing that great this year as well. So I'm not sure what happened here. I believe we used a Miracle-Gro potting, raised bed soil in this one, so maybe that was just not the best option for us. So I'm not sure what we're going to do, but I'm sure after this season is done, we're going to be doing some work on figuring out how to heal this bed. We have a couple beds that really have not done well, and it seems like the common factor in all of them was that we use the Miracle-Gro raised bed soil. So I'm not sure. Gonna try for some organic options, maybe layering with a bunch of chicken composted manure and things like that over the winter season, and covering it. But right now this is what we are dealing with, and we're gonna see if we can try and make the best of it. We have some eggplants which really don't look that great. We've got some cauliflower in here that I bought as starts at a local nursery, and it is just really not taking off that well. The zucchinis that are in here are not doing super fantastic. Do have a few sunflowers down at the end of the bed that seem to be doing quite well so far. I hope that they will continue to grow because I'd love to see some big sunflowers in here. We're moving along to a little bit more of the sunnier patch of the garden. You can see that the plants are definitely doing much better over here. I'm going to show you the pepper bed. There's mostly some different varieties of peppers. There's a couple eggplants in there that are doing quite well. The zucchinis that are in there are doing very well. Still have some empty space to fill in that bed, and I am going to need to get to that soon, because if I don't do it soon, we're going to run out of time on planting. So here's that bed. This next bed is one of the tomato and tomatillo beds. I've also got a few peppers in there, and I am thrilled with the progress on this bed. Last year, my tomatoes, I don't think they ever got as healthy looking as they are today. We've got a few flowers on one of the tomato plants. We've got some flowers on the tomatillos. I'm just thrilled. Like last year, my tomatillos were like, it was like a string, the stem of the tomatillo plant, and these look nice and thick and healthy, and I am so excited for the salsa verde that I'm going to be able to make out of these tomatillos. So fingers crossed they will stay the way that they are now. These next beds, I'm going to look at the two right consecutively with the arch trellis that goes between. I'm pretty happy with them. I'm not sure if the tomatoes in this bed are going to do quite as good as the other ones because we are going to have some shading from that arch trellis, but when you have a small space, you got to work with what you got. And so we're just going to try our hand and see what happens with these tomatoes in here. We've also got a couple of crookneck squash in this bed. I've got a echinacea flower in this bed, and along the trellis we have the red noodle beans and the blue lake pole beans. So let's take a look at that bed, and then as it arches over, some more beans, red noodle and blue lake pole on the trellis, and I have a few pepper plants in there. Again, the majority of that bed still needs to be planted out. I am late, y'all. I have a busy life, so I've got to get that planted. That is on my list of things to do today and the remainder of this week, but we're gonna work with what we got. Moving down to our bed on the end here that is quite densely planted. It is struggling a little bit too. Again, this is another bed that I use that Miracle Grow raised bed soil. I don't think I'm going to recommend that in the future, but here we've got onions, garlic, which the garlic looks like some of it has just fallen over. It's probably about time to check it. It's very, very early in the season to be able to harvest it, but it kind of fell over and died. So I'm thinking we're just gonna have to harvest it. My cilantro is doing quite well in this bed. The squashes that I've planted to grow up on the trellis, they are not doing fantastic. I might need to thin them out. I'm gonna try putting some compost around them first. And then we've also got some radishes in this bed, as well as greens. I forgot about that. The collard greens are in there too, and they're not thriving either. Parsley's doing quite well though, and hopefully the onions will as well. So we'll take a look at that bed. last planted raised bed that we have has cucumbers, melons, and squash, which I have since learned is not always the best combination, so that could be part of the struggle. But again, another bed that we have used some of that Miracle Grow raised bed soil on, so not doing as fantastic as some of the others. I do have some kohlrabi that has sprouted in that bed. The basil at the end of the bed seems to be doing pretty well, but we shall see. It's a learning process here. So here I am with a full raised bed with nothing in it. This is going to be the okra bed, and this is going to be planted today. If I do nothing else today, I am going to get this bed planted because it is well past time and really need to get it done. But busy mom of 5 and a pastor's wife, a lot of things going on here, so I don't always have the time, but we are going to get this done today. Here's a little bit of mint in the ground. I'm excited about these asparagus. I got these bare root asparagus, and they have actually sprouted. Look at that. So I'm excited. It'll be a couple years into this one before we see a harvest, but I'm excited for what's to come. Now we're going to take a look at some of our containers that we've got going on. We've got some raspberries, some cauliflower, things like that. I'm also going to show you the peach tree and the blueberries and things like that. So let's take a look. Our tomatoes that we put in these big pots are doing very, very well. I'm very excited about what's going on here. And here is our large blueberry. Just look at how heavy this is with fruit. I am so excited for blueberries. Some of these other berry bushes aren't quite as well established, but we still see some fruit here on this blueberry. Moving on, we have some blackberries. Hopefully, oh, looky here. There's the beginnings of a little blackberry. Look at those. I'm excited. Here's another blackberry. And again, we see some fruit. Yay! Here is a beautyberry bush. Not much for eating, but it does make a fantastic jelly. And I'm looking forward, no fruit on this yet. It blooms a lot later, but it is looking nice and big and healthy, and it is well established. Moving on to the green stalk, here down at the bottom, we've got some tomatoes. This is the first time I've tried tomatoes, and they are curling all around. I've got to do something to trellis. This is a jalapeno. Here's another tomato that's gotten quite large. I believe another jalapeno. Some lemon banana peppers, another tomato over here. We've got some pak choi. Some herbs, that's cilantro, I believe. This is a dwarf Siberian kale. Some Greek oregano. More pak choi. This is Mizuna red mustard greens. Here is a regular mustard green that looks to be doing pretty well, other than the fact that looks like we have a little bit of pest in there. Some mixed chard. So lots of goodies in here. I am excited. The sun has already beaten down on the rhubarb, but when it is not as hot during the day, those are looking pretty good. Look at those stems. I hope you enjoyed this May checkup on our garden tour. I will try to do these monthly and see how things are going. Maybe if it gets quite abundant, I might start doing them a little more often than that. But thank you for watching. If you want to follow along on our homesteading journey, I hope that you will subscribe to our channel, like this video, comment, let us know what's going on in your life, what you're liking, what successes and what failures you've had. My soil is obviously quite a factor on this. So until next time, blessings.